Dana opens her banking app on a Thursday afternoon. $230. She gets paid tomorrow. She makes $74,000 a year. She has made $74,000 a year for 3 years. The $230 is not new. The first thing you want to say is, where is it going? You want to find the expense. The subscription she forgot about, the habit that got out of hand, the number that doesn't add up. You want the math to be wrong somewhere. Because if the math is wrong, the fix is simple. Find the leak, plug it, move on. But Dana has done the math. Many times. The math is not wrong. The money arrives, the money leaves. The account returns to the same place. And Dana, who is intelligent and organized and earns more than most people her age, cannot explain why. She has tried the budgeting apps. She has tried the spending trackers. She has tried the automatic transfers that she ends up reversing by the second week of the month. Every system she builds returns to the same result, $230. That's not a math problem. That's a map problem. Let me draw this for you. Not Dana's budget, Dana's map. Every person carries a financial map, a set of invisible instructions about what money is for, how much of it is safe to hold, what it means to have more than enough, and what happens when you do. This map was not chosen. It was not taught in a classroom. It was drawn for you, slowly and completely, before you were old enough to question it. In the house you grew up in the silences and the arguments and the small daily rhythms of how money moved through your family before you had any of your own. You didn't watch someone write these instructions. You absorbed them. Through the quality of tension in a room when a bill arrived, through the way a parent's voice changed when money was discussed, or through the fact that it was never discussed at all. Through what got celebrated and what got hidden. Through the specific feeling of a full refrigerator versus an empty one at the end of the month. These are not memories you can easily locate. They are not lessons you received. They are the atmosphere you breathed for the first 18 years of your life. And they are still running, right now, invisibly, in every financial decision that feels like yours, but isn't entirely. Dana's map was drawn in a specific house, in a specific way, and that map is still running. It is running right now at $74,000 a year, returning her account to $230 with the same reliability it returned her mother's account to whatever number felt like 0 in that house. The income changed, the map didn't. Trace it back. Dana's grandmother, call her Eleanor, came up in a household where money was something that disappeared. Not through mismanagement, not through laziness, but through circumstance. Medical bills, job losses, the specific financial precarity of a Black family in mid-century America navigating systems that were not built to let them accumulate anything. Eleanor learned early and completely that money does not stay. You use what you have when you have it because the window closes. Holding money felt like a bet you were going to lose. Spending it felt like converting something uncertain into something real. That was not a bad lesson for that environment. In that environment, it was accurate. Eleanor raised Dana's mother, Claire, in a house that was more stable than Eleanor's had been, but the lesson traveled. Not as a rule, not as advice, as atmosphere, as the feeling of money in the house. Claire watched Eleanor's hands when bills arrived. She felt the specific quality of tension in the room when the account was low. She absorbed the rhythm. Money comes in, money goes out. You don't hold it because holding it is an illusion. Claire never said this to herself. She didn't have to. It was the water she swam in for 20 years. Claire raised Dana. Dana never heard a single conversation about money that told her she couldn't save. There were no explicit rules. No one sat her down and said, "Don't accumulate." But she felt what Claire felt about a full account, a kind of background unease, a low hum that spending quieted. She learned without knowing she was learning that the feeling of money sitting still was something that needed to be resolved, that the resolution was spending, that the account returning to a lower number was, at some level she has never examined, a return to equilibrium. $230 is Dana's equilibrium. not her limit. Her map's definition of normal. This is where the pattern lives. Not in Dana's choices, but in Dana's nervous system. In the specific feeling that a full account produces in someone whose map was drawn in a house where full accounts were temporary and dangerous to trust. Watch how this works in the present. Dana gets paid. Direct deposit hits. For approximately 48 hours, the account is full, and something in Dana's body registers that fullness as a problem to be solved rather than a condition to be maintained. She doesn't think, I should spend this. She thinks, I should get that thing I've been meaning to get. She thinks, I should take care of that. She thinks, this is a good time to handle that thing. The decisions feel practical. They feel responsible even. Each one has a reason. None of them feel like the pattern expressing itself. But the pattern is expressing itself. By Thursday, the account is at $230. The nervous system settles. The background noise stops. This is the number that feels like stable ground. Not because $230 is enough, but because $230 is familiar. Familiar registers as safe. Safe is the signal the map was designed to return to. The map is working perfectly. It is just working for a different world than the one Dana lives in now. Dana is not her grandmother. Dana's world is not Eleanor's world. The circumstances that made Eleanor's map accurate, the instability, the systemic barriers, the genuine and documented precarity of that specific historical moment, are not Dana's circumstances in the same way. Dana has a salary. Dana has job security. Dana has 3 years of $74,000 and the real possibility of more. But the map doesn't know that. The map was drawn before Dana was born. It doesn't update automatically when the income changes. It doesn't recalibrate when the environment shifts. It runs the same instructions in the new environment that it ran in the old one, because no one ever drew Dana a new map. No one showed her what the old one looked like. No one held it up to the light and said, look at this. Look at where it was drawn and why. Look at how accurate it was for the life it was made for. And look at how it is running, unchanged, in a life it was never designed for. You didn't learn this, Dana. You inherited it. And you cannot redraw a map you have never seen. Here is what is worth looking at. Not the transactions, not the categories, not the percentage you should be saving according to any rule anyone has ever given you. The feeling. The next time your account is full, meaningfully full, more than your equilibrium, notice what happens in your body before any decision is made. Not during the spending, before it. Is there a restlessness? A low-level sense that something needs to be done, handled, resolved. A feeling that the number sitting there is temporary and you should act while you can, convert it into something more solid before it disappears on its own? That feeling is data. That feeling is the map running its instructions. And those instructions were written for someone else's life, in someone else's circumstances, before you existed. Notice also what happens when the account returns to its low point. Whether there is, underneath the stress of the number, a quiet settling, a familiar ground, a feeling of, this is where I live. That settling is the map recognizing home. The new question is not, how do I spend less? The new question is, what is this feeling, and whose is it originally? Because the feeling is real. The response to it doesn't have to be. You can hold more than your map says you can. The map was drawn for a different life. You are allowed to draw a new one, but you cannot draw over something you have never seen. Dana's account has $230 not because she fails every month. It has $230 because she succeeds at following a map she never chose, drawn by hands she never saw, for a world that is no longer hers. Now you've seen the map.